How's it going, guys? Getting ready to go for a morning ride to work on a foggy day. Challenger's pretty dirty. Went on a long ride this weekend and have not had a chance to wash the bike. Super moist in the air this morning. On the verge of rain, but I'm hoping I can scoot through it. This person's doing. Got about 2,300 miles on the bike now. Only complaint, actually 2 complaints, and I don't have many, mostly likes on this bike, but 2 complaints are the Cruise Tech tire that comes on these bikes is too soft and they're known to cup. I did raise my tire pressure and it's helped a little bit, but I do have a front end shimmy, especially at lower speeds and on decel. That's really annoying, so I'm probably going to have to take it to the dealer and see if they can warranty the front tire. My other gripe is when the bike's warm and I'm at a stoplight and I put it in neutral because I'm going to wait a little bit, and then I go to re-engage first. It doesn't want to go back in some of the time, pops back into neutral. Sometimes it does that 2 or 3 times before I get it to engage first gear. Have no idea why, but it's done this since I got the bike. So these will probably be 2 things that I'll bring up to the dealer when I drop it off to get it looked at. Otherwise, this bike is pretty incredible. Sound system's great. I would say the navigation is mediocre. It's not bad, but it's not wonderful. But it will get by if you have to. I tend to still use Google Maps if it's not raining out, where I need to keep the phone dry. But the Clockworks windshield that I got, I love. These aftermarket mirrors that I got, I love the hand grips I got. I love highway pegs. Love them. Also have a Saddleman Road sofa. That is an absolute must if it's available for your bike. A tour pack, if you're going any kind of distance. I'm always 2 up with my wife, so that is a must. Definitely getting a little rainy here. Probably gonna get some rain droplets on the windscreen and the camera. But what can you do? It's pretty warm out, so it doesn't feel bad at all. Got to be extra careful when you're riding in foggy weather. Taking some back roads on the way to work. It's definitely my therapy before and after my day. This bike's power is awesome. I had 2 Harleys before this. Had an older Road King with 88 cubic inch, and that bike was decent, but no technology on it. Suspension was horrible. Looks pretty, got a lot of looks, but that's about it. Then I had a 21 Street Glide Special. Did a bunch of mods to that, and still hated the suspension. That had a 114 cubic inch. Okay power. Still really had nothing up top. Had a bunch of torque, and I tried to put some aftermarket rear suspension on it, and it had a 21-inch front wheel, and in a straight line it was okay. Around the turns it was very unstable. The only way to really do suspension is to do front and rear and match them. Otherwise it feels really sloppy and bouncy in a turn. This bike out of the box, the Indian Challenger Dark Horse, is an amazing machine. Suspension is soft but also handles incredibly. The traction control technology is awesome. Still allows you to be aggressive in your riding, but helps for those times where you would normally lose traction and possibly get out of control, especially if you're trying to push it. But this bike when you're on the throttle, it just pulls and pulls to the red line. Still has an awesome amount of torque. I rode my buddy's 2018 Street Glide Special traded bikes this weekend for a little while so he could experience the Challenger. And I'm pretty sure his next bike's going to be an Indian now. But after getting off my bike and onto his, I remembered all the things that I hated about my Harleys, and you know, it just made me really appreciate the Indian Challenger. This one's a 23. The 25s came out with a lot of new tech. Some of it I don't really think is necessary, but you know, I wouldn't gripe if I had a newer one, especially the linked braking. I think that's the thing that I would like the best. My 21 Street Glide Special had the linked braking, which I could appreciate, especially in a circumstance where you need to abruptly engage the brakes. You don't have to worry about percentage applied as much, or even if you don't have your hand on the brake and you use just your foot, it still works a million times better than only having a percentage of your braking power. My next plans on this bike are to eliminate the cat and dyno the bike afterwards. I'm going to do a dyno before, so I have something to compare to. I do have slip-ons and a stage 1 air cleaner. From what I'm told, the stage 1 air cleaner on these don't really do much. They just look better. But I still will do a pre-dyno pool to have a baseline. And when I do the cat elimination, I'm going to do a tune at the same time, and we'll see what we get out of that. I might even do a tune with just a cat delete, and then a dyno run with just a cat delete, and then do another dyno run after I do the tune. Not that I really need more power, because this thing's pretty awesome from the factory. But if you tinker, you know what I mean. Once you start, you don't want to stop. And I'm trying to do it slowly, but it seems like almost every weekend I'm doing something or another to the bike. Small things, more to personalize it. But I never leave well enough alone. I always like to put my personal touch on something. But realistically, if you bought this bike from the factory, for most people, it would be perfect out of the box. there, if I have a green light, I still always look left and right at all the intersections. There are so many morons in cars and trucks these days. You have everybody on their cell phones, not paying attention, trying to have a conversation or read something while they're commuting. Makes me furious. Definitely a kind of yucky day, but I still appreciate the ride. Just feeling the wind and the freedom. I love it. Something I've been doing since I was a little kid. Started on dirt bikes, tinkering with those, and never really fell out of love with motorcycles. I used to have some crotch rockets, and I went to buy a 1000cc bike, and at the dealer I went to, they cut me an awesome deal on a 99 TL 1000R, which, if you don't know, is a V-twin bike that was created by Suzuki to compete with the Ducatis. And that's when I really fell in love with the V-twin platform, the sound, the torque. And fast forward later on in life, you get older, you want something more comfortable. Got into some cruisers, and you know, the Harleys were great, but then once I took the Challenger for a test drive, I got back my sport bike power and torque and sound, and still had the comfort plus some on the Challenger Dark Horse, and there's no turning back. You know, this bike is amazing. I rode to Pan America before I got this as well. Comfortable for me, not for my wife at all. It's not a two-up, you know, centered bike, but that bike was fast, super fast. But it's not a sport bike. It's a, you know, more of an enduro bike, which I could see having a lot of fun ripping off road with that by myself, but definitely not for this stage of my life. Happy wife, happy life. So need to make sure 100% that she's comfy. And this bike allows that to happen, and me to still have fun with the power and the handling. For a 840-pound bike, this thing rips it, and it handles turns almost as good as, you know, some of my sport bikes did. It's pretty amazing. And I know a lot of people are really anti-Polaris, and I don't really have an opinion either way, but even if you are, whatever research and development went into building this platform was top shelf. We were riding home from Southern Maryland 2 days ago, and this guy had some roofing material, some steel roof, corrugated steel, on the back of his truck strapped down, and I saw it from quite a distance, but he had a big stack of it, and the bottom of the stack was sliding out. I don't know what happened because I got around him, but man, if that would have flown off and hit somebody on a motorcycle, I mean, a car could probably take the impact of that, but if it hit somebody on a bike, man, they'd be done for. Really got to keep your eyes peeled and kind of anticipate any kind of situation on a motorcycle, because you take it for granted when you're in a car or a truck, the protection that you have, and you can still really get messed up in a car accident. So you can imagine what would happen to a human body in the same situation, unprotected. All right, everybody, ride safe, and I'll hit you next time. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate the support.
Figured I would do a little voiceover here to explain what's happening, but the chin mount that I have on this helmet I transferred from another helmet, and I put on some double-sided 3M tape, not the same that must have come on the original mount, because that thing was almost impossible to get off of the first helmet. So as I'm riding here, it's slowly falling off. I'm not changing the position of my head at all. It's literally falling off slowly, and only a little section here is holding it on. I can't see it because it's not in my line of sight. But if I would have turned my head or anything swiftly, it probably would have slung off onto the road and probably gotten run over behind me, or at least broken or horribly scratched up. Either way, it's getting worse and worse as I ride, and here shortly it's going to fall directly into my lap. I did find a solution after this, and I found a 3M adhesion promoter. So I cleaned off the helmet the same way. I used a little bit better of a 3M double-sided tape, and then I used the adhesion promoter on both surfaces before I stuck it on. And if you guys are interested in finding out exactly what I used, just hit me up in the comments and I'll give you the part numbers so you can order it. But it's almost as good as super glue. Or, oh, there she goes. You heard it hit my tank. See y'all later.